Liam discovers Bill is not his father, Bill Spencer's biggest secret finally exposed. In a stunner twist that sends shockwaves through Los Angeles and the halls of Forrester Creations, the unbelievable eventually happens on the bold and the beautiful Liam Spencer learns that the man he has called Dad his entire life, the ruthless publishing mogul Bill Spencer Jr., may not be his natural father after all. What begins as a minor legal distinction buried in old Spencer Publications documents spirals into a full-scale emotional earthquake, hanging to tear piecemeal not just the Spencer family, but the fragile alliances that connect the Spencers, Logans, and Forresters. The disclosure strikes at the core of Liam's identity. For decades he has lived in the long shadow of Bill's towering pride, battling him, defying him, forgiving him but always believing blood bound them together. Now that certainty is ripped down, and the fallout proves ruinous, the story ignites when Liam stumbles upon a sealed train while reviewing Spencer Trust records. What catches his eye is an amended birth instrument dated weeks after his birth. At first he assumes it's a pastoral correction, but a discussion with his mama, Kelly Hopkins, turns tense when she refuses to answer simple questions. Kelly's silence speaks volumes. Liam presses harder, and her countenance cracks. The verity she has buried for decades is clawing its way to the face. In tearful fractions, she admits that when she came pregnant, she was involved with two important men, Bill Spencer, and a mysterious businessman whose identity she swore no way to reveal. Bill claimed on claiming Liam as his own, and Kelly, fearful and overwhelmed, allowed it. A private maternity test was conducted long agone, but the results were altered by Bill himself. Liam refuses to believe it. Bill may be manipulative, arrogant, and able of nearly anything in business, but falsifying a maternity test? That would mean his entire life has been erected on a taradiddle. Defying Bill at the Spencer manse, Liam demands answers. Bill originally deflects with wrathfulness, criminating Liam of digging into the history to justify his own failures. But when Liam presents clones of fiscal transfers linked to a private laboratory decades before, Bill's confidence falters. The silence that follows is blaring. For the first time, the potent Bill Spencer looks cornered. Bill eventually admits he tampered with the original DNA results. The natural father was someone additional, a rival he despised and refused to let claim any connection to him. Bill believed that raising Liam as his son would secure his heritage and deny his adversary satisfaction. He induced himself he was guarding Liam from insecurity and reproach, but in verity, he was guarding his pride. Liam rolls from the concession. Every memory, every assignment, every argument, every moment of pride or disappointment is suddenly tainted. Was Bill's love real, or was it possession? The disclosure snappily spreads through the tight-knit world of Los Angeles society. At Forrester Creations, whispers ripple through the design bottom. Rich Forrester sees an occasion to weaken Bill's standing, while Brooke Logan worries about how the verity will devastate her son Hope. Meanwhile, Hope Logan struggles to comfort Liam as he questions not just his father, but himself. However, what does that mean for the traits Liam fears inheriting? The ruthlessness, the preoccupation if Bill isn't his natural parent. Still, Liam feels unmoored. The biggest shock comes when the identity of Liam's natural father is eventually revealed, an important media mogul long presumed dead. A man whose business conglomerate formerly battled Spencer Publications. Though not a central figure in recent times, his reemergence, through hidden documents and surviving cousins, threatens to spark a commercial war. Bill's secret wasn't simply particular. It was strategic. By claiming Liam as his son, Bill secured a controlling stake in a merged adventure that would else have fallen into adversary hands. The taradiddle shaped the line of multiple companies. Kelly, destroyed with guilt, confesses she stayed silent because Bill promised stability. He handed fiscal security and assured Liam would no way know the query she formerly faced. But now she sees the cost of that bargain etched in her son's heartache. Their relationship strains under the weight of treason. Liam must attune his love for his mama with the reality that she allowed a false narrative to define his life. Bill, for his part, spirals into rare vulnerability. Used to commanding boardrooms and bending adversaries to his will, he finds himself helpless in the face of his son's rejection. In a raw, emotional battle, Bill insists that biology doesn't abolish decades of motherhood. He changed Liam's diapers, attended his ladders, bailed him out of heads, and believed in him when others misdoubted him. "I'm your father," Bill declares not by blood, but by every immolation he made. Yet Liam cannot ignore that those offerings were erected on deception. The story deepens as the riddle girding the true father unfolds. DNA retesting confirms Bill's concession. The results are inarguable. Liam feels a strange blend of relief and grief. Relief that the troubling sense of not completely belonging eventually makes sense. Grief for the vision he has lost. He begins probing the man who shares his birth, uncovering letters that reveal a gentler personality than Bill ever conceded. It becomes clear Bill stressed not just losing power but losing comparison. He didn't want Liam to see another man as potentially better. Hope stands forcefully by Liam, prompting him not to let Bill's sin define his future. She points out that Bill's worst mistake may have come from love twisted by pride. Meanwhile, Ridge exploits the reproach to undermine Bill's credibility, pushing for a preemption that would shift media influence back toward Forrester abettors. The Spencer conglomerate trembles as shareholders question Bill's judgment. In the most emotional scene of the bow, Liam confronts Bill one final time. He admits that while the taradiddle shattered him, it cannot abolish the man who tutored him adaptability. Bill breaks down, confessing that he was scarified of being alone, of losing the one person who softened his toughened world. Claiming Liam was selfish but loving him was not. The two men stand at a crossroads bound by participated history, divided by verity. As the dust settles, Liam chooses not to ramify ties fully. Rather, he demands honesty moving forward. The father-son bond will have to be rebuilt, not on blood, and not on control but on verity. Bill agrees, lowered in a way observers have infrequently seen. The plot closes with Liam looking out over the megacity skyline, meaning who he's beyond the Spencer name. He realizes that identity isn't inherited, it's forged. On the bold and the beautiful, secrets no way stay buried ever. And this disclosure proves to be one of the most explosive in the show's history. Bill Spencer's biggest secret has eventually been exposed, leaving observers questioning whether love can survive treason, and whether family is defined by DNA, or by devotion. As the original shockwaves begin to settle across Los Angeles, the emotional foreshocks only consolidate. On the bold and the beautiful, exposures are no way insulated incidents. They ripple outward, colliding with old injuries and kindling new battles. For Liam Spencer, the knowledge that Bill Spencer Jr. isn't his natural father doesn't simply alter his family tree. It destabilizes every decision he has ever made. In the days following Bill's concession, Liam withdraws. He avoids Spencer publications, dodges calls from his half-sisters, and declines meetings at Forrester Creations. The generally composed and innocently centered Liam finds himself twisting into toned doubt. However, what differently has he manipulated? Liam renewals nonage recollections through a harsher lens. If Bill manipulated a maternity test formerly, every stern lecture from Bill now feels advised. Every moment of praise feels suspect. Was Bill putrefying a son, or casting an heir at law? Meanwhile, Bill faces a public relations agony. Word of the falsified maternity test leaks to the press, and tabloids explode with captions questioning the integrity of the Spencer dynasty. Shareholders demand exigency meetings. Board members brood about race plans. Bill, formerly untouchable, finds his authority under scrutiny. For the first time in decades, he's forced to defy consequences he cannot bulldoze through. At the center of the storm stands Liam's mama, Kelly Hopkins, whose guilt grows heavier with every fleeting hour. She attempts to reach Liam, but he keeps his distance. When they eventually meet at a quiet sandhouse, a place from his nonage, the discussion is sorrowfully honest. Kelly admits she stressed losing both men when she was pregnant. Bill offered stability and protection. The other man, Liam's natural father, offered passion but query. She chose safety, persuading herself it was for Liam's benefit. Hearing this devastates Liam further. He realizes his entire actuality was shaped by fear, fear of reproach, fear of poverty, fear of losing power. The identity of his natural father continues to unfold like a precisely guarded legend. The man, once a redoubtable contender in the publishing world, had still erected humanitarian foundations and transnational gambles before his unforeseen exposure from the limelight times agone. Liam discovers archived interviews revealing a thoughtful, introspective leader, a stark discrepancy to Bill's aggressive persona. The consummation shakes him. How important of himself has he suppressed trying not to image Bill? And how important might come from the man he no way knew? At Forrester Creations, Rich Forrester wastes no time using the reproach. In tense boardroom meetings, he questions whether Bill's compromised ethics make him an unreliable mate in unborn collaborations. Brooke Logan urges caution, reminding Ridge that exploiting a family extremity could boomerang. But Ridge argues that business is business, and Bill has no way shown mercy in commercial battles. Why should he anticipate any now? Caught between these elephants is Hope Logan, whose fidelity to Liam is unwavering. She becomes his anchor, reminding him that motherhood is measured in presence, not chromosomes. Yet indeed Hope feels the strain. She sees how deeply Liam's foundation has cracked. He questions whether he's fit to lead, to parent, to love without repeating Bill's miscalculations. Hope reassures him that the very fact he fears getting like Bill proves he's different. The emotional climax escalates when Liam's half-sisters defy Bill. They demand to know whether their own lives were manipulated for strategic gain. Bill insists Liam was the only secret, but mistrustfulness lingers. The Spencer family fractures, fidelity splintering under dubitation. Family feasts grow tense. Exchanges end suddenly. The formerly unified Spencer heritage appears dangerously fragile. In an important sequence, Liam visits the laboratory that firstly conducted the falsified maternity test. The sheltered technician, now senior and regretful, admits Bill paid free-heartedly for altered results. He said he was guarding his son, the man confesses, but it felt like he was guarding himself. Hearing this confirms Liam's deepest fear: Bill's love was intertwined with control. Yet the story refuses to paint Bill as purely unlawful. Alone in his office overlooking the megacity skyline, Bill studies an old snap of Liam as a child. His expression softens. Flashbacks reveal private moments no way participated intimately. Nights spent assuring an alarmed boy during showers, proud grins at academy achievements, quiet exchanges about morality and strength. Bill whispers to himself that none of those moments were fake. He loved Liam fiercely, maybe too fiercely, and that love twisted into possession. As the weeks unfold, Liam makes a vital choice: he'll meet cousins of his natural father. The hassle is emotional but not dramatic. There's curiosity, kindness, indeed resemblance. Yet Liam realizes commodity unanticipated. He doesn't feel an instant bond. Blood alone doesn't produce history. The man who raised him, bloodied as he is, shaped his worldview further than DNA ever could. Back in Los Angeles, a hostile preemption attempt looms over Spencer Publications. Investors smell vulnerability and move fleetly. Ridge's a better circle, smelling occasion. Bill faces the real possibility of losing his conglomerate, the veritably conglomerate he justified his deception to cover. In a moment of modesty infrequently seen, Bill approaches Liam not as a Napoleon, but as a father asking for help. He admits he cannot fight this battle alone. Liam faces a crossroads. Supporting Bill could secure the Spencer heritage, but would it mean championing the taradiddle that defined his life? Later long reflection, Liam agrees to stand beside him, not to save power, but to help farther chaos. In the boardroom showdown, Liam delivers a speech that shocks everyone present. He acknowledges Bill's wrongdoing openly, refusing to color it. But he also defends the company's integrity beyond one man's mistake. His honesty stabilizes wavering investors. The move changes commodity between father and son. For the first time, Bill sees Liam not as an extension of himself, but as an independent force. Pride fills his eyes, not power but respect. Still, remission is intermediate. Liam sets boundaries. No more secrets. No more manipulation disguised as protection. Bill agrees, visibly shaken by how near he came to losing everything. Not just his conglomerate, but his son. In the ending moments of this extended bow, Liam visits the sand alone at evening. The swells crash rhythmically, mirroring his internal reckoning. He realizes that identity is concentrated. He's not solely a Spencer. He's not solely the son of a foreigner. He's the product of choices, his own over all additional. The wrathfulness begins to soften into clarity. Back at the Spencer manse, Bill watches from his deck as the megacity lights flitter on. He understands that rebuilding trust will take time, maybe times. But for the first time he's willing to earn it actually. Across city, Hope joins Liam at the oceanfront, slipping her hand into his. Together they look toward the horizon, uncertain but united. On the bold and the beautiful, family is no way simple, and secrets infrequently stay buried. But in the fate of Bill Spencer's topmost deception, one verity emerges stronger than ever: love can survive treason, if those involved are stalwart enough to defy it. The storm that began with a single amended document refuses to die down. On the bold and the beautiful, secrets infrequently fade still into the background. They evolve, change, and return with sharper consequences. Liam Spencer may have chosen to stand beside Bill Spencer Jr. in the boardroom, but emotionally, the fracture between them remains raw and untreated. Weeks after the public disclosure, Los Angeles society still buzzes with enterprise. Talk shows debate the ethics of falsified maternity tests. Legal judges question whether felonious charges could be pursued. Though the enactment of limitations may have expired, reputational damage is endless. For Bill, who erected his conglomerate on power and perception, that damage cuts deeper than any action. Inside the Spencer manse, the silence between father and son is heavy. They change measured words, careful not to enkindle another battle. Bill attempts small gestures, inviting Liam to strategy meetings, asking his opinion before making administrative opinions. For times Bill mandated, now he consults. The shift is subtle but significant. Liam still struggles intimately. The DNA evidence continues to echo in his mind. Late at night, he scrolls through archived papers about his natural father, searching for pieces of himself in strange photos. He notices analogous expressions, analogous posture. Yet there's no emotional resonance, only curiosity and a strange grief for a relationship that no way was. Hope remains his steady center. Hope Logan encourages him to reuse the verity without rushing remission. She reminds him that mending is into performance. In quiet scenes at home, they bandy what kind of father Liam wants to be, one defined by translucency, not control. The disclosure about Bill forces Liam to reflect on generational patterns. He's determined to break the cycle of manipulation. Across city, Rich Forrester continues to watch Spencer publications precisely. He recognizes vulnerability when he sees it. Though the immediate preemption trouble subsided after Liam's honest defense of the company, Rich knows cracks remain. He holds private meetings with investors, subtly planting seeds of mistrustfulness about Bill's long-term stability. For Ridge, business and contest are thick. Meanwhile, Brooke Logan worries about the emotional risk on Liam and Hope's marriage. She has seen too numerous connections collapse under family drama. In sincere exchanges with Hope, Brooke urges tolerance, but also warns her son not to carry Liam's pain alone. Brooke's own complicated history with important men makes her acutely apprehensive of how ambition can distort love. The emotional turning point comes when Kelly Hopkins, Liam's mama, suffers a health dread brought on by stress and guilt. Kelly Hopkins collapses during a charity event, and the incident forces Liam and Bill into the same sanitarium waiting room. The sterile lighting and ticking timepiece strip down pretense. For hours they sit in silence, united by fear. When Kelly stabilizes, she asks to see them together. Weak but bent, she tells them she no way wanted her secret to come a armament between them. She believed Bill would give the strongest foundation for Liam's future. I chose security, she whispers, but I undervalued the cost of verity. Her vulnerability softens Liam's wrathfulness. He realizes she too has carried this burden alone for decades. Outside the sanitarium shooter's mass, the spectacle reignites public seductiveness with the Spencer reproach. Bill's rivals seize the moment, framing the family drama as substantiation of unstable leadership. Stock prices dip again. Board members demand contingency plans. In a bold move, Liam proposes commodity radical translucency. He suggests hosting a press conference, not to defend Bill's once conduct, but to admit them openly and outline ethical reforms within the company. Bill originally resists. Exposure has no way been his strategy. But Liam argues that honesty is their only path forward. Reluctantly, Bill agrees. The press conference becomes one of the most dramatic moments in recent history. Bill steps to the Tribune first, admitting he falsified the maternity test out of fear and pride. He doesn't excuse himself. Also, Liam takes the microphone, attesting the verity while affirming that motherhood transcends biology. The vulnerability shocks journalists oriented to Spencer arrogance.